In my videos, I always tend to show the good side of laning and overall performance because I want to give you the best possible Aurora plays, and of course, even show you how to replicate it. But everyone knows that things don't go nearly as planned sometimes, especially when it comes to solo queue. And today, I will show you a high-low game in which I did not perform nearly as good as I wanted to, but still managed to come back and not only be relevant, but be one of the driving forces to potentially carry this game. Were we able to win? Well, watch until the end to find out. Welcome everyone, sit back and enjoy the commentary. The matchup on today's menu is Jax. I strongly suggest as the Aurora player that you go for this setup as it allows you to win early extended trades against very aggro Jax players as long as you utilize bone plating to its full potential. Jax on the other hand, he can actually go a variety of runes and depending on which one he chooses, kinda shows his intentions. If he goes for lethal tempo, that means he's looking for all-in type of trades in the laning phase, and outside of lane he's gonna scale better. Grasp is the complete opposite, he's looking for shorter trades in the lane and also looks to get out of lane unscathed as possible. Fleet is another option that lets you survive better and even gap close to you very easily, so you need to space his energized attack once he hits a minion. And lastly, Phase Rush, which could mean two things. He's either going AP, which means more short trades, or wants to scale better by having better chase potential outside of lane. Either way, Phase Rush is extremely weak in lane, so look to take advantage of it. In this case, my opponent went for Grasp. Now, jumping into the game itself, you're going to witness my first very big mistake that ends up completely destroying my laning phase. What happened in the jungle was Talon got invaded by Pantheon, meaning that he wants to split the map vertically, so I already have that information laid out to me, given the scouting I did with the F keys. Now when I know that, I have two options: let the wave push to me or keep it neutral by not hitting the wave at all. But that's not possible since I already decided to push it. Having the wave pushing to me is extremely important when you're getting weak-sided because the opponent can easily freeze it and you're probably going to die trying to unfreeze it, so avoiding that is my #1 priority. I should also drop a ward at the tri-bush since it will let me scout out Pantheon when he attempts to cross or look for a gank, but in this case I completely messed up and didn't do that. When you're playing a lane bully, it's really easy to get caught up in trying to stomp your matchup that you space out and forget about things. Looking back at this play, I can't even tell you what went through my mind. Was I thinking that I can't get ganked because of my champion, or was I thinking that Pantheon will run to his bot side to defend his red buff? I'm not sure, but what I did here was for sure not it. I tried to make the best out of a bad situation and chose to trade flash for flash with somebody from the opposing team, if you can even call that an upside, but this one mistake completely ruined the laning phase for me, so now it's an uphill battle to come back. The moment I respawned, I chose to instantly teleport. The reason is I obviously don't want to lose any more XP and go even further behind, but also I want to play the bounce. Even though I died, if I play towards my champion's strong sides, aka bigger range and spacing potential, I could still win trades. But I still need to respect Pantheon hovering around the area, so I let the wave push into me. Ideally, if Pantheon was in topside, I would shove in the wave without any worry, since that would allow me to take control over priority and I can reset after Jax goes back to teleport. But in this case, I don't have that luxury. Right now I'm thinking, I shouldn't let Jax push in the wave, otherwise he'll just get a free reset and to teleport. But the thing is, given the fact that I was forced to use my teleport and Jax still has his, I'm basically in a checkmate and eventually I'll be forced to go back at a bad timer. And something like that will come very soon. But right now, I couldn't stop his recall, so I'm looking to force a freeze. And here you might be asking, am I in any position to even do so? Well, yes and no. Here, I have a choice to make. Do I freeze, force his teleport, and try to get some good trades off? Or do I just let the wave bounce to him and get punished later when the wave is pushing and I'm forced to step up? But even the line of play that I chose has its problems, since I tanked a ton of damage from the minions and it made my situation very volatile, and Pantheon could still be lurking around topside. While it's not very common, it's possible. In this case, contrary to the first play, I wouldn't actually change anything that I did. Even though I died a bit earlier, I still want to use my early prowess. But as I stated earlier, things don't always go your way. Pantheon decided to not recall after finishing the Scuttlecrab, rather played for the second rotation of Talon's camps, but he saw me being low HP and I got punished. I was fine alone since worst case using my W I could trade 1 for 1 under the tower, but of course it's a jungle diff. And now we might be thinking, was there really nothing you could do? Play safer maybe, don't freeze? And the truth is, not really. Whichever choice I went for, eventually I would be forced into a bad situation since the alternative is getting frozen on and ganked anyway. I do think the freezing one is slightly the better option though, since that one could maybe go right, unlike the other one. One thing I could improve in terms of mechanics though, is to not take this trade from Jax here in an attempt to predict Pantheon's camp clear and not be in lethal range when they go for the dive. I do think it's possible to have that form of 5-head play of course, but I do think it's pretty far-fetched. And at this time, I wasn't even thinking about that at all. But yeah, that just goes to show that one big mistake at the very beginning can lead to a snowball effect of everything else being not as it should be. Going back in the lane, now I need to somehow get this giant wave under his tower. I don't have any potions to work with, so all I know is I'll be taking a lot of unfavorable exchanges with Jax. He went in to remove my bone plating, so he'll for sure look to jump on me very soon. I'm anticipating and I tried to buffer my Q as I'm getting stunned, and I did, but sadly I missed. Yeah, this lane is going awful. He managed to trim the wave down, and now I need to be extra careful, otherwise this will be my third death. It's funny because this is basically the wave state that I said I would have if I had chosen the second option earlier, where he can constantly threaten to jump on me. I'm constantly weaving in and out, but Jax of course knows that I'm in a rough spot, so he looks to punish me accordingly, as he should. These traits are not at all in my favor. I do have one more trick up my sleeve though that I'm looking to use to potentially come back from this awful position. See, even though Jax has an item advantage, he's missing sustain. He didn't invest into a refillable potion and he only has cookies that will eventually run out. Even though I barely wasn't able to find lethal on him here, I can still look to play for the river plant. Whenever you have push and it's 6 minutes into the game, look to get. Of course, only if it's still there. Yeah, I don't remember this game being nearly this unlucky. In any case though, even without it, I should still be able to kill the Jax, as long as I play it decently. But decency can be too much to ask for, especially here where I had lethal on my opponent, but chose to show mercy. Because I was winning too hard, of course. No, I just messed up. If we watch it again, I got stunned during my ult jump. In order for that to not happen, what I should have done is after the initial E plus Q, I should have went back, wait out his E, and then finished off with Q into ult or ult into Q. It doesn't matter too much in this case, but the reason is I tried to min-max my damage to secure the kill by going ult into Q, but it backfired because my patience was non-existent and I didn't space him at all. Moving on, if the lane wasn't hard until this point, now it's even worse. But don't worry, now it's time to show you why it's always worth to give it your best to win the game. Mistakes are unavoidable at the end of the day, so with that in mind, your determination to win should always be stronger. And this is the perfect time to answer one question that I get asked literally all the time. What do I do when I'm behind? And the answer is really straightforward actually. The same that you would always do. Look for the most optimal play. All of the decisions I've made so far, even though they failed, have been with that mindset. So I'll still look to play around my champion's long range, look for favorable trades, and look to punish when Jax is running away. But there is one thing that for sure I need to improve on from now on if I want to win, and that is the execution. I've been missing a lot of abilities and my movement has been a bit shaky, so if I fix that and maybe if Jax makes a mistake here and there, I could look for something. Right now I'm looking for any favorable trade. In this case, I was able to find one very good one. This one was born from the fact that Jax got overzealous on trying to punish my poke. But I purposefully was baiting him in, since I knew he has no cooldowns and I can get away with forcing his jump on me. Don't forget that your HP pool is also a resource, so use it wisely. And now you're about to witness something very funny, and dare I say even cunning. I had vision on Jax the whole time, but I moved my champion in a way to make him think I don't. There's a thin line between being sly and reckless. Luckily for me, it worked out and I was able to bait Jax in a position where he needed to go in, and with the use of my abilities, I was able to find the long-awaited lethal. Then after that's done, I wanted to let this wave come to me so I can get more farm and then shove it onto the next one, so I can have a much better back. But Faker eventually showed up and ruined my fun, so I was forced to go back earlier. When I teleported back, I instantly used my ult to chunk him to low HP and clear the wave. The reason behind that is I actually thought I'm getting dove. Faker wasn't scared at all for my teleport, so I wanted to be somewhat safe by clearing the wave beforehand. You can tell I'm a bit paranoid since what happened this game. Eventually, the enemies did the unthinkable and attempted to gank me since I was having a bit too much fun by staying alive for too long. Luckily for me, I was able to react to the Pantheon flash in time so he wasn't able to W me. A little bit later, the enemies swapped back to their initial assignments. Even though I got a kill, that doesn't really put me in the driver's seat or anything. Rather, I'm a little bit less behind. I still need to be careful with the way I approach trades and not overextend, especially since my ult is on cooldown. These next couple of minutes from the lane went by pretty smoothly. I managed to get some good poke onto the Jax without much retaliation to me. And I guess after the first kill, I was able to put some faith into my jungler, since he helped me out with the lane gank, which led me to get quite a bit of gold. After that sequence, I was able to fight Jax toe to toe. I was actually able to finish my Ludens before his Trinity Force, which is a big deal when you combine it with playing from a distance. I managed to put Jax in this situation. I'm playing it patiently and was also able to predict his dodge upwards. He was in a very rough spot, but I knew that as long as I wait for my ult, don't do anything silly, I can secure the kill. But Pantheon, again, decided that I'm having the time of my life, so he wanted to corner me. So I knew looking at an execute is the best line of play, and it wasn't close at all. After that sequence, I was feeling way more confident that I can pull things off. I went back top lane, but I saw that my opponent is leaving lane. We had some good wars topside, so I had full information on what Jax does. I used this time to push the wave in to force him to come back and not roam around the map, but he was nowhere to be seen, so I grabbed a freebie. And now, officially the laning phase is over. This is the time though when I can look to take over. In order for me to do that, I need to be more impactful than Jax, who's going to look to be a menace on side lane. I'll look to do the same, but in team fights. This is a pretty standard Aurora play on mid lane. Whenever the opponent squishes champion, normally the ADC looks to take priority, and you can use that in your advantage. Even without the Ash shield, I would have still looked for that since how pushed up Kog'Maw was and the information I had on the map at the time, it was always a good play to go for. In response to that, Jax ended up getting the top tower, which is fair play of course. I looked to set up a kill on him as Talon was doing Herald. I ended up forcing him to teleport out, as you can tell here, and my team wanted to look for something more into the enemy jungle, but it didn't really amount to anything in the end. I really didn't want to fight that anyway since I had no ult. Afterwards, there are a few more situations that I'll show you, but I wanted to primarily focus on how to come back when you're playing Aurora and you're not having the game of your life. She is an early game oriented champion, but your skill shot accuracy and execution is the driving force and the most determining factor on how well that's gonna go. And that can really fluctuate from game to game, so consistency really does end up being key on her. Don't aim for flashy plays, aim for hitting your abilities. I'm sure somebody said that. Speaking of flashy plays, however, I did get one really spicy one that I showcased from Crowny's point of view in this video. Go check it if you haven't. The enemy team were doing Otacon, and this is somewhere Aurora really shines in, since it gives her a lot of angles to work with. After my initial poke on Kog'Maw, I instantly went out to vision and looked to reposition for this nasty re-engage on the enemy team. Funny thing is, I could have even lived had I cancelled my ult before the E, but things happened so fast that I couldn't keep up with who died, so I wanted to be safe. And eventually, with a bit of back and forward, we were able to turn this really sketchy beginning into a thrilling finale. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, I would appreciate it if you subscribe and drop a like since it helps me out a lot. Also, let me know what other type of videos you'd be interested to see. I know that the topic of coming back from mistake is a contested one, so I wanted to make this video as soon as possible. Anyway, have a good day or evening, and I'll see you in the next one.